What it is, sim racing fans, and we're in for the Assetto Corsa website, the official one, and where today we're gonna be talking about for all cars to the original game and the competizione. So we have something for available consoles around here that we just gonna be getting away for just only one thing that we're starting in United States as well. So we wanted to do for anything that we just gonna be trying to do for what that I just really wanted to start. We're gonna be talking all of the cars from the DLC and something old cars into the game as well inside of the car list. So with that I say let's just going to get in to do this as well, starting in a set of course around here for the original game. So let's just get into around for many more later. So where here it is. So we have here for about for the excess for around for the old cars as well. So instead that we are going to be scrolling down, there are the official tracks. What is going to be going on out here? So let's just get in towards for many cars as well. So starting on to the production. So we have old cars. If I just gonna be click on to the image, we have to start here. The BMW and the M series coupe as well. The 211, which is the Lotus 211. Alfa Romeo 4C, the Nissan 370Z Nismo, the 488 GTB, the Fiat 500, the SC as well, the Porsche 718 Boxster S PDK, another Boxster, which is the Boxster S, and another one, the Cayman S, is pretty something in the future. Wait, there are the new Porsches around here for just like its day? No, I should be able to get our another one. So this is some sort of a 2010s version for the early things. Is the 911 991 Carrera S, the Maserati Alfieri, the Alfieri. This is absolutely for the concept vehicle is pretty good that I'm just gonna be dreaming about for one thing, and it's a limited time in dealership tycoon. The Porsche Cayenne, the Lotus Elise SC, the Lotus Evora, and probably the Evora is going to be the Evora S, the Lotus Exige 240, the Exige 240R, the Exige S Roadster, the Lotus Exige S. This is where I got here from the dealership tycoon when it was going to be almost 3 years ago, or slightly 3 years ago as well, that I just completely owned it. Another one is the Exige Skura and the Exige V6 Cup, which is I didn't able to got here for a while ago. So nothing has been a while that they just gonna be shown of this vehicle when I was at the beginners as well. And then I'm at professionals as well. The Alfa Romeo Giulia, and probably this is the Giulia, which is insanely pretty good as well. Another one is Giulietta, is probably that I just already watched in some sort of a green box concept for some sort of an Alfa Romeo film as well. The QV Launch Edition. Another one, the QV is this one, Giulietta, is probably for only one thing, that is going to be for automatically open doors. So probably if you're just going to be ever try to buy this for the compact car as well. And another one is the Toyota GT86, Ferrari GTO, the Maserati Levante S, the BMW M3 and 92. This is the M3E92, and this should be the M4 Coupe that was going to be previously for only one thing. The M4 Coupe is going to be a little bit big. The Porsche Macan or Cayenne for just only one thing as well. Mazda Miata convertible for just not such a standard thing, and that must be the Alfa Romeo Mito QV. I'm probably the QV is absolutely for a Mito that I just completely upload this video that I just during the lap time as well, because since I just got my mouse cruiser on, we just gonna be moving next the Mustang GT 2015 as well, which is eventually something automatically just completely going to zoom in. The MX-5 ND. It's probably for pretty worthless about here. I just completely owned already in Dealership Tycoon, and this is the Porsche Panamera 2020 edition, or some sort of from the last decade. And this is the best sedan. For a fastest sedan is the Maserati Quattroporte. The Quattroporte is probably for absolutely that when your car is going to be favored. They didn't make it into the United States, or it was allowed around in the United States as well. The KTM Crossbow R is going to be using for one favorite thing, because you're just going to be beating South Asians like one thing. The BMW Z4 E89 35IS. Wait, this is absolutely all cars of this thing as well. For all production cars, we got all over here. So the next thing is the racing line. The next thing is the BMW M Series S3. The 1 Series M S3. The Season 3 sounds probably the 311 Lotus. Another one is the 458 GT2, 4888 GT3, the Fiat 500 Assetto Corsa, the Ferrari 599 XX Evo, Lucene, the McLaren 650 GT3, the Mazda 787B, the 911 GT3 Cup 2017 version of this vehicle, the 911 GT3R 2016, the Porsche 911 RSR, the 918 Spider, the 919 Hybrid from the 2015 Le Mans Series, the 2016 that based on Gran Turismo Sport. That car featured originally in the Assetto Corsa as well. The Mercedes AMG GT3, which is the concept version for this thing as well. The Cayman GT4 Club Sport, the Toyota Celica TS185, the Corvette C7R GTE, the Lotus Evora GTC, the Evora GX, the Lotus Exos T125S1, the Season 1 series, the Lotus Exos T125, the Ferrari F138 is absolutely for one thing as well. The 138B is absolutely before the end of the year. So, looks like we just gonna be completely moving to the next one. The F2004, the FA01, and probably don't know. So, one of the most favorite Formula 1 cars that you think that you remembered as a while ago. Probably the SCG003, probably that is just completely sold back in 2018. The Maserati Gran Turismo MC GT4, the GTR Nismo 2014, that we just never bought this, the based on Gran Turismo model as well, but nothing looked like this anyways. The Lamborghini Huracan GT3, the Huracan is absolutely probably that we just never completely owned because it got removed sometimes. Another one is the Huracan Super Trofeo, which is not fast, but the featured about for this car that I just tested in Roblox Le Mans around here. The BMW M3 E30 Group A, the M3 GT2 that I just never got here in any Roblox racing games except Motorsport Legends, the BMW M235i race car, the Maserati MC12 GT1 that we never be able to own because this is such as one limited time that I just own the MC12 in Vehicle Legends for the limited time. The MP412C GT3, the Mazda MX-5 Cup car as well. The P1 GTR is exactly based on Twilight Sparkle as one of itself. Ferrari P4/5 Competizione was actually a Ferrari, or it was not a Ferrari as well, probably. If you just let me know in the comments where the Ferrari is, and probably for some sort of one thing, the R1 Racer, like this one thing as well, probably, that we just never being able to say around this. What the R1 says is probably this thing as well. Anyways, let me know down in the comments. So it looks like this is the Audi R8 LMS 2016. The LMS Ultra car is slightly more faster than some sort of one thing as well. And this is the R18 e-tron Quattro 2014. And that is basically actually in Roblox franchise as well. So probably in the 2016 version about for this thing. So the SF15T, not basically for absolutely one thing that I just never saw around here. The Forza version will be the LMP1, the R18 e-tron Quattro based on Forza Motorsport as well. The SF70H was pretty basically for the Formula 1 franchise as well. So the Alfa Romeo, I'm probably the Renault R17. The R17 is absolutely basically using for Forza Motorsport. The Mercedes SLS AMG GT3, the TSO40 hybrid from basically is going to be most likely speed for just continues on and started to be successfully as for the 2018 as well. So this is the Audi TT Cup, and another one is the Audi TT RS VLN. Another one is the Z4 GT3, which we never owned it because it's slightly removed from Driving Empire as well. And that is all for the cars that we got all for today. Supercars we absolutely got. We still have 4 in-game cars as the 570S, the Ferrari A12 Superfast removed from Driving Empire, Porsche 911 GT3 RS, that Stradman owns it. And another one is the 911R. Is one thing. The 911 is probably the 991 Turbo S, the 2018 version as well. Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce, the Cayman GT4, the Super Veloce being removed for every Roblox racing games, whatever it was. The Cayman GT4 STD, the Ferrari FXXK, and the Huayra BC. Another Huayra for another one for just one thing as well. The Pagani Huayras as well. This one was slightly removed from Dealership Tycoon because due to refunds and a limited amount of time the returning of Lamborghinis was actually a fair. And that's Ferraris that absolutely removed from Driving Empire because it's still featured around summer in Vehicle Legends and other kinds of racing games whatsoever. That is the McLaren P1 that we still available around here until it gets removed, but somewhere in the nearest future that we're moving on to the further notice as well. The Sesto Elemento was removed also, but probably modded for the part of the admin racing vehicles from Midnight Racing, and that is the Pagani Zonda R. It has been licensed for only used in Driving Empire as well. So, not that we just eventually said, this is the tuned cars, and that is essentially for one favorite, the Ferrari Italia, the 458 Italia, that is just completely owned, and I'm unable to be selling this car, that FHRC Brony has just completely sold this, that one of an icon, as well for one enthusiastic thing. The Fiat 500 Season 1 that I just never completely used to do this. Because this car is going to be beating South Asians right now. Except for this. The Fiat 595. And another one, the Season 2 version about this vehicle. This is the Apex Cheruno tuned version for the initial D franchise turned to racing vehicle as well. So that must be essentially using the Lotus Elise S1. The Lotus Elise, another Elise that basically on Season 2, the Evora SR, the Ferrari F40 for the Season 3, Lamborghini Gallardo has basically added to Midnight Racing the Superleggera for just only one thing that featured this vehicle in the game. And because it's absolutely based on the Season 3 as well, next we're moving on to the BMW M3 E30 Sport Evoluzione, the BMW M3 E92, which is tuned vehicle as well. The BMW M4, that must be the addition for just one thing, not a GT4 version about this thing. That let me know down in the comments about this M4 thing. The RX-7 tuned, which is not slightly the Fast and Furious reference about for some kind of initial D reference, the Red Sun's RX-7 that recently that we just completely that I just already saw. Another one is the Audi Sport Quattro S1, the Toyota Supra Time Attack, which is basically that I don't want it to do so, that we just got the drag Supra out of the Season 8, because the previous season about the Season 7, that requires a season pass for this. But in Season 8, we got the Supra whatsoever, the drag Supra that we just eventually think, and the Z4 E89 35 IS, like this thing as well. So we're going to move around for the racing around for this thing. Let's go for the drift cars. We only have 5 cars. The AE86 Drift, the BMW M3 E30 Drift vehicle, the Drift Edition for the E92 M3, the Mark IV Drift vehicle of the Toyota Supra, and the BMW Z4 E89. So it looks like we're heading on to the Gran Turismo. So I think 458 Italia is the part of the Gran Turismo series of this thing as well. The Gran Turismo class will be the 458 Italia, the Corvette C7 Stingray, the Lotus Evora GTE, the Lotus Evora GTE Carbon Edition, the Lamborghini Gallardo Superleggera, and the GTR Nismo. Was absolutely basically on 2015, not 2018 for it to do so. But anyways, we didn't own about for this car because I essentially own this vehicle from Vehicle Legends Limited Edition Nismo 2015 as well. And this is the MP412C that I just completely owned, but I just sold this vehicle a while ago in Vehicle Legends because I just always going to be keeping this car in Driving Empire as well. This is the Audi R8 V10 Plus 2013 vehicle. The 2013 model is probably essentially this. The Porsche RT12R. This is not actually a Porsche or some sort of RUF. This is the Porsche 911 RT12R. And another one is the all-wheel drive version. So this is absolutely basic. And that is the essentially advanced version, the street racing version of this vehicle as well. And finally, we got the Mercedes SLS AMG. So it's not going to be all about those cars. Let's move on to the classics as well. We got any classic vehicles we probably have. The Apex Cheruno AE86 that Takumi owns it for one thing, for tofu delivery. Another one is the Supra Mark IV, the Skyline R34 banned in the United States, because this is exactly more outlaw worthlet it was. Now that's illegal, that never to be shown around United Kingdom, in the United States or Mexico, Canada, and Australia too as well. And probably that was banned from English countries. Is probably essentially one outlaw thing, the most worthless vehicles for all time, because how the vehicle will be allowed here and it's still worthless. That was essentially dangerous on the road. So the next one is the RX-7 Spirit R, which is basically for a standard like this one tuning vehicle that you just regretted to get this. I just bought this vehicle from a while ago. Since then and that I just turned into the Red Sun's yellow. And once again, this is the Lamborghini Miera, and one classic thing, it got removed from any Roblox games except for Midnight Racing, that base feature onto this vehicle. And another one is the Lamborghini Countach that featured in Midnight Racing Tokyo, that I just gonna be wanted to get there as well, instead of Lamborghini Gallardo as well, that the brand has been removed from Midnight Racing, because I don't really think so as well. This is the Porsche 917K, the Kozak vehicle that I just completely owned in Project Track Day, that I just completely saved levels before money releases as well. And the next one is the Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale, and probably the Super Sport is the Fiat 595. And one of the first supercars from all time, starting in Ferrari F40, which is basically for some sort of not being able to serve like this thing, but it goes allowed in the United States all the way from Florida to California as well. So probably that must be essentially started being allowed on Tokyo and the Golden Cheese Kingdom as well. So the next one is the RUF CTR Yellowbird, which is basically that someone is going to roast Toyota Supra around here, the tuned one, Kenichi, or probably for something one reasons from Midnight Club 2. I don't really think that Kenichi is going to be regretting the Yellowbird as well. And another one is the Shelby Cobra 427 SC. And the S/C is going to be probably one thing that we just never own. But I just already own in Vehicle Legends for the limited time. And the next one is the BMW E30. And the final one is the Audi Sport Quattro, that I just essentially own this vehicle. And finally, we're moving on to one more, historical racing. So, we didn't absolutely have anything before this. So we're starting that we have available items around for the Alfa Romeo 155 Ti V693. Another one, which is the Mercedes-Benz 190E Evo 2nd as well, the 190E Evolution 2. That must be the Ferrari 250 GTO, the Ferrari 250 FC6, another Ferrari 250F T2 12C. Another one is 312/67. The Ferrari 312 series is going to be only one thing. The Ferrari 1960s. That is basically for one thing that they essentially beat the Ferraris as well by Jim Clark. And another one that essentially the Ford GT 67 or 68 is to beat the Ferrari 330 P4. That we just completely never owned of this vehicle, essentially that we just never able to bought this thing as well. So I'm just gonna be completely going to own my way to buy this, but unfortunately that got removed from Driving Empire for a long time, for even for such as last year, the Ferrari 312T, because this is one of some sort of an Braziliano's enemies, especially beating Niki Lauda as well. So this is one thing that somebody who hates this, and probably the South Asians is going to be beating the 312T as well. And it was driven by Niki Lauda or something. So probably the Emerson Fittipaldi is beating itself but unable to beat this thing, because essentially that always keep it itself for one charge thing. The Lotus Type 98T, driven by Ayrton Senna, and probably for some sort of one thing we already never able to be said for about for one thing as well, because renamed to Gran Turismo vehicle as well. This is the Lotus Type 98T driven for only one important thing. Another one was the Lotus Type 72D, which is completely that we never driven before, that we already missed. So this is the Lotus Type 49, and which is essentially going to be beating Ferraris anytime soon. They're using for the H16. Another one was the Lotus Type 25, basically on Grand Prix moving. Probably to do this for one to do this as well, such as and because I was started to get a little bit dumb, so it looks like we're going to move on to the Porsche 962C short tail. The long tail must be the 962C, which is probably incredibly that we just never owned of this vehicle, but limited times around here in Car Dealership Tycoon, but not exactly for vehicle legends. Must be the best handling, of course. The Moby Dick vehicle is absolutely basically featured in Project Track Day, must be the Porsche 935 MD. And another one, the most powerful racing vehicles like Jimmy Broadbent that I just completely saw, was being that is just completely so the Porsche 970. I'm probably the Porsche 91730, which is that I never owned of this vehicle for a while ago, that we just completely saw a while ago for, I don't know. This is one of the most deadliest cars, but probably it was a failure to complete for 6 hours of Atlanta. The Porsche 911 GT1, that is essentially the 996 GT1, was actually the most deadliest vehicle. Nothing that was absolutely gonna be stopping this vehicle, because the vehicle just gotta be flipped over. That anyways, that's solved for one problem. And another one is the Porsche 911 Carrera RSR, which is the first RSR vehicle, like one enemy or something for as well. Another one is 718 Spider RS, joining around the sports car team version around here. The BMW M3 E30 DTM, basically one thing as well, for one probably. That is the Porsche 908 LH, which is absolutely for a racing version. What about the concept vehicle? Because that slightly not exist around here, some sort of a futuristic thing as well. This is the Alfa Romeo Giulia GTA. The Alfa Romeo GTA vehicle is probably one of their getaway vehicles as well. And another one is the Ford GT40, that was essentially beating Ferraris, as Ken Miles just did here before he just slightly died around for the brake failure on the Mark III, which is not pretty good for Ken Miles as well. So probably the most successful thing is probably using the GT40 Mark I, because I wasn't going to be beating enough, because I'm pretty owned in the Halloween event on the Mark II. And that is another one, the McLaren F1 GTR, that is just completely owned of this vehicle for the last 2 months ago. So another one is the Ford Escort RS 1600. And another one is the Lamborghini Countach S1. The Season 1 is one of this kind of one thing without the spoiler as well. The Sauber Mercedes C9, which is something that ridiculously for the favorites since for most likely 3 years ago. And this is the Audi Sport Quattro S1 E2. So this is absolutely pretty some sort of one thing that the Lawbreakers just did only one thing. So, and that is all of the cars we absolutely wanted to do this as well. So if I don't have any to do this, what I just tried to say, make sure you leave a like and subscribe and click that bell. We have all cars in this website and tracks as well, that we're just going to be seeing this absolutely one later to do this. But unfortunately, we cannot able to go to Assetto Corsa Competizione, which is that I'm never able to be completely to set of all of this before the end of this year, that we just make sure that only one probably to do this until next time that we're going to be reviewing about for this thing as well. So looks like I cannot able to be returning back where that I just gonna be returning to do this. I cannot be able to return back as well. So thanks for watching, and I'm gonna be talking to you mini lads all later. And that should be Turbo. Concept is signing off. That we just seeing for this old vehicles and stuff.